morning, Desert Bounty. I'm Perry. So you're in the background. I got the heater running. It's frosty outside, and it's dark. It's about 6:30 in the morning. I gotta be taking off in a minute, so I'll make this segment hopefully short. I won't ramble on. I don't do monologues well. I never imagined myself sitting in front of a camera talking to potentially millions of people. The younger generation who grow up in this digital age, they don't really know. They don't understand what's happened in the last 50 years. And I'm privileged enough to watch it evolve. I come from a radio background, and so I kind of grew up in an atmosphere where media was, how we paid our bills. So this channel, Desert Bounty, is about me selling everything, moving away to another state 2,000 miles away, and purchasing a small piece of land and trying to be self-sustainable. And that term, self-sustainability, is an oxymoron. To give you an idea of kind of what my thoughts are and who I am, I thought it would be a good thing to sit down and just have a talk about the way I think through things and what's going on in my mind, and some of the things I've learned in the last 15 years that I wish I would have learned a lot younger. Maybe sharing this with you will help you cope with the current times and the coming times. So one of the first things I want to talk about is the term expertise. In court cases, you have one side will bring an expert in, another side will bring an expert in. Both experts have experience in whatever it is they're talking about, but we can see clearly that two experts can contradict each other, and there's a lot of reasons for that, which I won't delve into. But for us, as just common people, we see this play out, and we understand that the word expertise is a loose term that's thrown around, and nobody has really defined it out in the open. Basically, expertise is just an opinion. It's an opinion about a person's perspective and experience. And there's not a lot of honest people out there. If everybody operated on the same moral compass, moral perspective, then experts wouldn't be disagreeing with each other. You couldn't pay someone to embellish the truth in favor of one person or issue or the other. And it's disturbing that people whom I trust and get information from call themselves experts, only later to find out that their perspective was small, their knowledge and experience was not much, and that the opinion that they gave me in relation to their expertise turned out to be worthless. So with that in mind, I digress. So expertise to me, when somebody says I'm an expert, I'm suspicious. I'm in a critical thought phase in my life where I analyze everything that people say, and I break down their sentences into segments to try to determine if they're trying to present to me good information, the truth, or if they're trying to convince me that they know the truth or are an expert or have a perspective that I'm going to find value in. And so every time I hear the word expertise, I understand it's an opinion. That's all it is. And we see this playing out in today's judicial system all the time. Expertise is a loose word thrown around to convince people to be swayed one way or another for an opinion or to come to a conclusion. So I don't hold much weight when someone tells me they're an expert. Now, if someone says to me they've been doing something for 30 years, and I can clearly see that they've been doing that, and I can substantiate or discover that they're telling me the truth, in that instance, I view their knowledge as valuable. If that person calls themselves an expert, I immediately suspect that there's ego involved, and they want to be called the expert of experts. And that's an oxymoron. The next topic I want to talk about is the term perfection. Perfection. Excuse me. Perfection is something that is unachievable. And what I mean by that is, in the realist terms, the word perfection. Oh, here, hold on for a second. First of all, as I was sitting down to do this segment, I just pulled up the dictionary, Google, and I pulled up the term expertise. What is the meaning of expertise? And they come right at you with expert skill or knowledge, and they're presenting it as a noun, person, place, or thing. Interesting. Expert skill or knowledge, expertness, know-how, business expertise, a written opinion by an expert. Now, if you were an expert and you had expertise, the information you were about to present couldn't possibly be considered an opinion, now could it? In my mind, expertise should be presenting truthful fact, not opinion. Verifiable fact, not opinion. So this muddying of the concept of expertise starts from those who wrote these definitions and created these words. And maybe in a future segment, I'll go over that, why that all happened. Concerning the authenticity or value of a work of art, a manuscript, etc. So there you go. Expertise, skill or knowledge, expert skill or knowledge, know-how, business expertise, a written opinion. An opinion. The next thing I want to talk about is perfection. The definition of perfection: flawlessness, freedom from defects or errors, an ideal standard. Completeness, having all necessary parts or meeting all requirements. Supreme excellence, the highest possible degree of skill or quality, like a perfect musical performance or dish. Exemplification, the perfect embodiment or ideal example of something. So, perfection is another one of these terms that I don't like, because perfection cannot be achieved. What is perfect tomorrow evolves and is no longer perfect today. The only place that I can find perfection, in my observations in 62 years, is in the nature. When we see how cells organize in this environment, on this earth, we can see the life forms evolving and growing and developing in the environment that they're in. Change the environment, the organism changes. Here's where I find perfection. I find perfection in the evolving biology around me. And that's really the only place that I can find perfection. Striving for perfection, for me, is an unrealistic goal. It isn't something that I'm striving for, perfection. It's something that is unachievable. Prove me wrong. The next topic I want to go over here is determination. Relentless pursuit, determination. I identify with this term. Determination, here in the dictionary, is also presented as a noun. Firmness of purpose, resoluteness. He advanced with an unflinching determination. There's similar terms to determination, like resolution, resolve, resoluteness, willpower, strength of will, strength of character, single-mindedness, purposefulness. That's a mouthful. Purposefulness. Determination. Determination is something that I kind of, instilled in myself. If I have a goal, I want to achieve it, I'm determined. Like here, moving to Arizona, buying a small piece of land, and trying to become as self-sustainable as possible. And I'm going to go over that in a minute too. So, determination is something that I think that I have. I focus on one thing, I go after it, and I complete it to perfection. And then I can call myself an expert. No. I'm not an expert and I'm not perfect, but I have determination and I have willpower. And even when the clues are telling me to stop, this isn't going to work, sometimes I'm foolish and I keep going and I carry it through. You know, once in a while I get lucky and it works out. But more often than not, I don't listen to my own intuition and I get caught up in the determination and I don't stop until the failure is so obvious that I have no choice but to stop. That's not here. So I planned a lot of this. Some of the stuff I couldn't plan for. Some of the stuff hit me by surprise, you know. The gate came down and I had to get over that gate. Well, because of my determination and my resoluteness, I'm able to overcome these obstacles with relative ease. Some of the other people I've known in my life would collapse and fold under the pressures that I've endured just in the last 3 months being here. But the goal that I have in my mind and the end game is something far greater than even myself. The natives have the 7-generation rule. Everything they do, they think about clearly with critical thought before they embark with determination on a goal or a process and how it's going to affect the next 7 generations. I think this is something we need to get back to. Building, the environment, agriculture, education, health, all of it. None of it is focused on the coming generations. And it's important. It's important for humanity that we start thinking this way again. The next topic that I have here is knowledge. This is something I think about. What is knowledge? Well, I go to my go-to here, and I come back to these definitions. Knowledge. What is knowledge? Knowledge is the accumulation of experience or study. My perspective is unique. It's not like your perspective. The knowledge that I have gained from my personal observations, you cannot possibly duplicate because you're not me. You couldn't be there in the moment. You couldn't see and hear what I was seeing and hearing. And then my brain processes that into a memory. And over time, person acquires knowledge. That's the only way. You can read about and learn things in books and get knowledge, but it solidifies it in your mind and makes it real and true when you actually put your hands in it and do it and experience it in that intimate moment, in that intimate hour, that intimate month, whatever it is. And it's only in that you gain valuable knowledge. It's the only way. You can listen to other people, take their opinion, their perspective, and process it, and then execute that yourself and then gain knowledge. Knowledge is something that not one human can hold for themselves. Knowledge is never ending. It's an infinite thread that continues on forever. There's always more discoveries, there's always more information, there's always more things evolving. There's no way for us to know everything as a single human being, and this is why we need each other. I need your perspective. I need to know what your experiences are in a truthful way, without claiming to be an expert, without claiming to be perfect, because those two things are not achievable, are unreal. They're not true. You can become an expert in your own mind, and that's a problem with your ego. Determination is something that we can all have, but we have to execute that carefully and with critical thought. And I'm going to get to that in a minute, critical thought. So knowledge is something that you gain through your own experience and your own perspective, through your own research, through your own study. You gain knowledge. It's yours. It's your truth. Hopefully the information that you absorbed is truthful. And one way to filter that out is to experience it yourself without having been told, what is this thing? Do it yourself, and then you know. You either know or you don't know. You listen to an expert and then you claim to have knowledge. I would be very careful there. Until you've done it yourself, until you've experienced it yourself, use your own hands, use your own thoughts and your own perspective, your own activity, then and only then can you really claim that you have knowledge in something. It's the only way. Having people around you with multiple experiences, multiple knowledge sets, multiple perspectives is ideal. Living in a solitary environment without a community and without others das ist nicht gut. It's not good. You need a community. You need people around you that you can trust. You need people and their perspective and their knowledge to help you achieve the things that are wholesome, good, valueful, worthy. You need these things. So, community. I'm going to get to that in a minute too. So, knowledge is gained through experience and study and in other forms, but the best knowledge is the knowledge that you get from your own hands. So, learning. Learning is something that never ends. To claim that you've learned everything you need to know is a negative. Learning is something that happens all the time and it never ends. From birth right up until the moment when you take your last breath and die. You're learning. If you stop learning and you distract yourself with things that are not valueful, things that are not virtue-filled, and you stifle or stagnate your own learning, it has an effect on your psyche, has an effect on your character. Now, in the critical thinking phase in my life, I can look around and I can see the people who are stagnant, who are not willing to learn, who don't want to learn, who have given up, and it's sad. Hopefully, I can get you back in the game. Come with me now, okay? Let's learn together. I'm approaching the end of my life, and I'm learning more now than I ever did. It's amazing, because now I'm paying attention. I changed some things about my life and how I think, and it's working, and I hope to share those with you. Perspective. My perspective, I just touched on that a minute ago, is unique. My life experiences are unique. You couldn't be there in my shoes, in my skin, in my body, experiencing my truth. Your truth, your perspective is yours. It's your truth. It's your learning experience, your knowledge, your perspective that you gained in your life. It couldn't possibly be the same as mine. Mine couldn't possibly be the same as yours. But together, our two perspectives, or three perspectives, or four perspectives, makes us a juggernaut, a force to be reckoned with, if you know what I'm saying. And I'm going to close this off by talking about community and cooperation. If you're learning and you have a goal, it's ideal to be with or around other people that are in the same mindset, that are trying to achieve the same goals. I might be planting something in my garden, you might be planting something in your garden. My thing didn't work, yours did. I need to know why. I need to know how. If I ask for your help and you deny me that, well, then I just have to look somewhere else for help. That's all. People who don't want to share their knowledge, don't want to share their experience, and don't want to share their perspective, do so for, I would like to think, personal, non-evil reasons. But my perspective and my learning experience and my knowledge that I've gained in 62 years leads me to a conclusion about people who don't want to help. And maybe I'll get in that in another episode. But cooperation is essential. For us to be good humans, to achieve things that are worth having, we need to cooperate with each other. We need to help each other. And I hope that finding this channel and me sharing my experience and the knowledge that I'm gaining to freely give to you, so that you can take and continue on, is something that makes me happy. I feel good about that. There's no debt owed. I'm not asking for anything in return except your perspective. I need it. I want it. And with that, I'll close this segment. And the next segment that I'm going to talk about is going to be how I critically think. What is critical thinking? How does it work? And why most of us lack it. It's something that we're taught at a young age to not do, to just follow orders, to take up the information as truth, and now we find out later that it's not. It's terrible. and there's a way to rescue yourself. And we'll go over that in the next episode. Thanks for watching.